Hello everyone. I am Krishanu Goswami, your host for this show. Those of you who do not know it yet, we are running a master's and PhD program in quantum science of health, prosperity and happiness in collaboration with University of Technology, a fully accredited university in Jaipur, India. And we have been doing this for the last 3 years. We have two batches of master's students already graduated. What we came to know from many of you, people are interested to know how things work, who administers the courses. Now, most people know Amit Goswami and Valentina Onisor because they are the most prominent faces. But who else are there? Moreover, who are the students? What is their experience of taking these courses? How do they feel? To address these questions, we have brought together this show, and today we have with us the full faculty of QAV. Please help me welcome Amit Goswami, PhD, Valentina Onisor, MD, and Atish Majumdar, PhD, and Terry Way, MA. I'll come to each one of you individually, but first of all, let me thank you to be here today, spending your valuable time with us and allowing us to get more of the insight that you have in store. First off, let me go directly to Amit Goswami, the Dean of the Students, the President of CQA, and the man himself. What is your opinion about, or how is your outlook about the courses that we are doing? What do you think that people can get out of it? Not only just people, what about society? Over to you, Professor Goswami.
Thank you, Krishanu. Hello, everyone. It is my pleasure to introduce what we teach, why it is important that you come to us for higher education rather than go to the standard institutions. Well, first of all, let me happily pronounce that people talk about paradigm shift in science all the time. You hear all post-materialists thinking, constantly talking about there is going to be a paradigm shift based on consciousness and so forth. What they don't realize that there has been such a paradigm shift already. Because of my work mainly, but other contributors have been in the background, very luminary contributions. Together, we have a full paradigm of science. Does not mean that this is the end of it. Even materialist paradigm, which has been going on for since the days of Newton, even before, cannot claim that. Science is open-ended. But within that, we have the basic premise, basic research, basic experiments that prove the veracity of the research, all this established. This is documented. I have written books, Valentina, I have written books. I have written books with other collaborators. And all this work is available mostly available, I should say. Some of them are in press for people to look at. Our topics are, as Krishanu said, health, prosperity, and happiness. What it involves is medicine, not so much conventional medicine, but an integrative medicine, and mostly alternative medicine, which is complementary to mainstream allopathy. Allopathy to us is emergency medicine. Allopathy is essential for emergency stuff. But it is not quite well known. It is a fact though, and you can understand it readily because computers are so popular these days, that hardware requires software to work. Matter gives hardware. This is the straight fact of biology. Biological hardware is produced by matter. The physiology of matter, however, requires software. And what we have found, this is experimentally dictated, biological physiologies are not expressible without this software. And in quantum physics, our experience and everything that is connected with health that we experience, everything that is connected with happiness and prosperity that we experience, all cannot be manifest without an observer. This is quantum physics, plain and simple. Quantum science includes consciousness in a very intimate way, and no other philosophical approach to consciousness is adequate. In this way, first thing that you have to understand that we have something very new to offer. A primacy of consciousness science, a paradigm which has already begun, which can give not questions, but answers to all the usual questions of consciousness, experiences, health, prosperity, and happiness. This is why we bring this field to your attention. You are going to get a complete avant-garde education that you cannot get anywhere else. That's the first thing. Second thing is that we have integrated all the previous knowledge base, combined it with the new knowledge base into an integrative field of expertise. We teach quantum integrative medicine, integrating all that is known in allopathy and all that is known in the alternative medicine, such as traditional Chinese, traditional Indian called Ayurveda, homeopathy, mind-body medicine, spiritual medicine, and so forth. In other words, physical body, vital feelings, mental body, including meaning, soul, the archetypes embodied, and spirit. Everything is included in our approach to health and happiness and prosperity as well. Another aspect is the conventional education stresses outer aspects of these subjects. Now, outer aspects are important. Nobody denies that. Conceptual understanding of behavior, conceptual understanding of what actually is the case that can be measured objectively are very important. However, the experiences happen inside the subject, inside the person, inside the patient, client, whatever you call the person. And that is internal. That cannot be just talked about. It has to be experienced. And we have an education that gives you experiences. It covers the experiential, not just cursorily. Many programs today teach basic meditation and yoga. Our program is not that way. We teach meditation and yoga, we call it quantum yoga, integrated with everything for every course that we have. Every course has an experiential side. Even businesses have an experiential side. Do you know that business leaders, what they lack the most? They don't have much connection with their body, feelings, emotions, and they have to learn emotional intelligence. Yes, there is talk about this, but how do you get to emotional intelligence? We have quantum yoga developed specifically for developing emotional intelligence of business people. This is the kind of thing that gives our education a special flavor, which you cannot get elsewhere. So, summarize everything integrative medicine, integrative psychology, integrative business, capitalism the old-fashioned way. Capitalism also can be done on the basis of consciousness. What's the difference? Old-fashioned way, you have just the selfish interest of the producers and consumers in mind. In the new-fashioned way, not just a selfish interest. Every person is supposed to have an expanded consciousness. When we do science within consciousness, we realize that the consciousness is a non-local consciousness. It's not confined within one brain. It can engage with all the brains, all the consciousness that exists. And to the extent that you are expanded, to that extent you can be creative, to that extent you can include others' interests. This is what is lacking in all these fields. And this is what will bring. Our faculty is committed to transformation. And even for our master students, which is only for 2 years roughly, even for them we teach some transformation. And for PhD students, we promise some transformation. Because we believe that unless our students develop non-local empathy, not the cursory empathy that even behavioral psychologists talk about, cognitive behaviorist therapy includes that. No, not just theory of mind, not just energetics, not just neuro-linguistic programming. It's non-local, going inside a person's mind and vital energies, really sharing somebody's sorrow, somebody. And this is where our education has a punch. This is what you will learn that is unique. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. This was really a very wonderful way to put across why this course that we are delivering is different from so many others. Now, what I promised our viewers in the get-go is that we will have our students also in this program. So if I can invite the students as well before we move on to the next faculties. Hi, Anumita, Sida, Greg, Katia. Wonderful. Thank you so much again. This is a work day. I know that all of you are professionals in your own fields and you are busy. Thank you again for finding time today to join us. I believe we all heard what Amit said, and he stressed many times about experiences. And when we talk about experiences, who else can we turn to other than Valentina, Dr. Valentina Onisor? She is very dear to us. Dr. Onisor, she started out as a medical doctor, an allopathic doctor, and later she found her calling. And today she is a permanent faculty. She is also among the founding team of QAV. Over to Dr. Onisor about your take on how you think these courses are.
Hi, Kishano. Hi, everybody. I'm very happy to see you in this dynamic way. And it is wonderful and fascinating the relations that are created in this school, because I think most of the people are at least a little bit fascinating with this term quantum, and the moment they start understanding a little bit, they get this aha thing about or a quantum leap, and they see that something really fundamental happened. Life changes, so the transformational capacity exists in all of us, and all this infinite potential. And quantum science is truly that bridge that unites science and spirituality, and that also refers to bringing, to actualizing all this infinite potential in every human being, because we are all born with this infinite potential. But then again, we need to start from wherever we are, and then with perseverance and aspiration, move from there. Now, for me, again, I had 30 years or so of intense search into the medical fields through allopathy and all the other traditional branches of medicine, and also through various branches of spirituality that I practiced intensely. And I'm very happy for that. And then a few years ago, when I met Professor Aswami in India, the things really clicked. And I'm thrilled, I have to say, and amazed of all the developments that are happening in my life, and also in the life of every single student that we have with us. Yeah. And also we are putting in practice very beautifully all the principles that we talk about, all this non-locality, tangle hierarchy, and eventually discontinuity. So that's something that I find unique. Also, these very strong bonds and mirroring and the power of transformation that comes through that. So for me, being a teacher, a real teacher, kind of goes hand in hand also with being a good doctor. And to me, it implies that factor of continuous transformation, which is a key towards health, growth, transformation. Yeah, and a fact that the material scientists are saying openly something disastrous, and untrue. The fact that we are doomed to our base level human condition, because there's nothing else. And they kind of say that we cannot transform, but actually quantum science has proven, especially in the medical fields, that we can truly change the physiology. And again, if you are aware about chakras and the subtle anatomy also, so we can and we should bring changes, transformation actually at all these levels. Yeah. So again, and later on again, for those who become teachers, that means also to live what we teach. And nobody can, of course, transform one another person, but we can. And what we do is that we hold a mirror in front of each other, and you can truly have a feeling of what you can be, what is your potentiality, what is your perfect right to actualize in your being. And then that happens when you go to a doctor or when you go to a teacher. It brings this aspiration to transform, and this intent to transform. So you get this spark, inspiration to transform. And that's what quantum education is doing, because you see, for me, again, the first thing that moves me is the fact that I see a lot of sufferance, as you see nowadays, right? And to me, the thing that I think that is needed most is education. So much more than other things, education, because nowadays you see it's just about information processing and job training, only survival oriented, being social cultural, at least. So it's this emphasis of survival needs, which ignores the higher needs, and that is creating the chaos that we live today, and we are all responsible for that. So it is the job of higher education. That's what we want to do, to restore this pursuit of higher needs, and to also ensure the continuation of a higher purpose for human development. Yeah? And again, transformational education, that's something that you will find with us. Education that will transform this human condition into, if you want, more positive stations of homeostasis, more health, prosperity, more happiness. And again, you have to understand these terms, each of them. Maybe it's different than what we grow with. For example, spiritual people are kind of saying, no, you cannot live a life of prosperity and happiness unless you give up spirituality, and it's not like that. So quantum worldview is really helping us discover who we are, and also what is our relationship with our environment, but also applies it to life, in every area that we are. And if you see, I found in my way that all this, most of traditions, they come with dogmas, and these archetypal values that are essential, they come more like doctrines to practice, not ideas to explore, to discover and practice. So a lot of limitations, and this produces less and less success in embodying of these values. And that's what we speak again. It's the number one, being able to embody these archetypal values. And again, human being without education is suffering from this base level human condition that is really keeping us at a level quite close to the machines, and again, higher education, it's education in human values that elevate us beyond this base level condition. And then we speak about, being civilized, and eventually speak about even higher integrations of this human civilization. So it is really a fascinating world. If you have a certain aspiration, you want meaning, passion, and purpose in your life, and you want to discover a state of congruence between the way you think, the way you live, and earn your living, and if you want, of course, to integrate science and spirituality in your life, and even connect with the spiritual wisdom traditions, so that in that case, if you're genuine, we are definitely happy to grow together with you. It's a tangled hierarchical relation that we practice here. So
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Valentina. Well, by now, most of our viewers would be aware of more or less what we are talking about when it comes to the education, the difference that is there, the particular aspects which are being emphasized here, the experiential part. This is a fantastic thing that Valentina said, that when we talk about spirituality, it generally renunciation that is associated with it, but we are talking about prosperity in the same sentence. So that's a very unique way of practicing spirituality in the most practical terms. Of course, the purpose that comes into doing anything, the purpose is everything, and that purpose can be lived. Archetypes can be lived. Real intelligence can come out. All these things are there. But probably I am overshooting myself, because we still have two faculty members with us to discuss about this subject. Now, we have Terry Way. Terry, generally for students, is a very dangerous man, because he is the academic advisor and the grader. He holds everyone's marks. Aside to that, Terry is an artist. So if we want to have a creative person, we already have one in Terry. So Terry, what would be your outlook?
Thanks, Krishanu. It's true that I'm listed as the academic advisor, which means I'm in charge of recording the grades, but I have a lot of help doing the actual grading. Valentina and Atush both get involved with that. As far as the quantum worldview itself, I've been looking for 50 years for some explanation that makes some kind of sense on how the world operates, what's going on. And I feel strongly that the worldview that Dr. Goswami describes and has created an explanation for is valid and strong. And that's part of the reason I was one of the first graduating master's students from QAV. So now I have a master's degree in quantum science of health, prosperity, and happiness. And I look forward to exploring that in more detail. I'm also an instructor here at QAV, and I work closely with Dr. Goswami. We've been developing a visual arts course, a mark making drawing course, if you will, that explores new ways, new methods to, I was going to say talk about, but visually create some marks to help understand and explain and represent the quantum worldview as presented here at QAV. So that's exciting. We'll look into that in much more detail in the coming semesters. So back to you, Krishanu.
Wonderful, wonderful. Thank you so much. Language is very, very, very important. Language is the connection between two poles, and without the right use of it, things become horrendous. Even in quantum science, even in the classes that we do, language plays a very important role. Language or the lack of it, both are important. Now, coming to our next faculty, Professor Atish Majumdar, PhD. Professor Majumdar is a faculty in QAV. Before that, he was a professor in Delhi, a very large university, and he has also held many academic positions in his long career. So over to Professor Majumdar, if you have something to say here.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you, Krishanu. I was trained as an experimental physicist. I have PhD in high energy physics, and later on I pursued research in the area of solar energy because the high energy physics is absolutely cut off from any application in the real world. And so solar energy was giving me some pleasure, and then suddenly I got introduced to this new area of quantum science through Professor Goswami, and that was a real wonderful experience. And I have joined the school, and I am finding that the school is so unique in so many ways. The way we are teaching in the university, that students are coming and acquiring some skills and knowledge, and they are going out, they are finding jobs and so on. But they lack the happiness of life, the inner meaning that you are always craving for. Every individual is craving for, and this is a school which is teaching you exactly that. So the basic difference of the school with the other schools, which are mainstream schools, where you get MSc and PhD in areas like psychology, physics, chemistry, and so on. They are so information oriented. They are lacking the meaning, And here we are not only giving the meaning, we are also experiencing the meaning in our own life. So that is basically the difference with other schools. And other unique feature of the school is that we as teacher and students are more connected with each other, because we feel that the interconnection is so important to be happy. And here in this school, I have started a small group in which we do experiments on telepathy, and that is giving us so much of pleasure. We are discovering so many new things, and it's a really a wonderful experience. I think such an experience, if it has been available to me when I was a student, uh, I would have been so happy to pursue this. Unfortunately, uh, I missed that opportunity because there was no integration of science and spirituality when we learned things, because we thought that spirituality is so different than science. Science and spirituality cannot be together. But what Professor Goswami has shown us, that the principles of science are so basic to understand the spirituality. All the concepts of spirituality, like reincarnation, uh, and death, and so on, they are can be explained on the basis of these principles of quantum mechanics. That is so wonderful. And in addition to that, you learn the way you can connect with each other, you can experience yourself and transform yourself. uh, that is so unique in the school. So I would, if anybody is listening to me here, I would urge him or her to come to this school and experience his or her own transformation through this learning. Not only we are teaching the basic principles, but we are also teaching how we can really experience ourselves, how we can think better, how we can find new things, our own creativity. And what is the meaning of creativity? We only think that big things can be created in lab and space science and all that. It's not that. It is our own creativity. We have to live our life of creativity, and that is what this school is teaching us. So with this, I would like to conclude this short
Wonderful.
introduction about this school. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Majumdar. That was really, really nice. Now, these were the faculties, and there have been a lot said about the courses. The courses have effects on their students, transformation, creativity, empathy, a lot of things. But that's what the faculty is saying. That is just the one side. Now we are going to the very important other side, without which the faculty would not exist. So let us move on to the students now. All right. So I'll just go by the order that I am seeing people on the screen. And in the screen, Anumita is there. Anumita, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Hi, Krishanu.
Hi, hi, hi. So Anumita is based out of Singapore. And Anumita had a corporate career, a very good corporate career, I must say, in renowned companies. And she quit her job to pursue a journey of self exploration and soul searching. This may or may not connect with many people, but I know people personally where people have not found the congruence between their life, living, and livelihood. So, this is one of the things where congruence was missing, and Anumita decided to find out what else is there. If I'm not mistaken, Anumita, is this, do I capture the thing correctly?
Yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. So my question to you would be that you have all heard what the faculties had to say. And then if I ask you, as a student, you have been with QAV for some time, what would be your experience? Is there something you want to really add or highlight that has touched you and you think is really necessary for other people to know?
For sure. Yeah, I mean, the course has been definitely something that has moved me at a very, very fundamental level. So as you correctly mentioned, I found this course, I believe, in a series of synchronicities. As like very soon after I left my job without knowing what I was going to do next. But I knew something had to change, and because like it was a successful career from a materialistic point of view, but somewhere in me I was not happy or very fulfilled. So when I found this course, when I went through the details, it really clicked with me. And it sort of gave me the reassurance about what I was feeling at the time. And then it also gave me a lot of confidence to pursue this type of a journey, which is not something that many people can relate to, which is like a journey of self-exploration. You don't know where you're headed. But the course, finding the course gave me that confidence to pursue that. And with the hope that I think there can be an actually meaningful and happier career or means of livelihood that I can find for myself. So far, I've been almost a year into the course. It's packed with so much inspiring wisdom, but also I want to call out how it gives you very, very specific actions and steps you can implement in your day-to-day life in a very simple way towards your own self-transformation. So just a quick example would be just a regular practice of meditation or practicing science of manifestation, something that I learned in the course. Just practicing this on a regular basis has made me more calm as a person, more centered, more grounded. I feel like I connect more with a fellow human than I did before. And I am just more at peace with however it is that my life decides to unfold. Like, you never know. So that's been amazing. And I do feel I am very early on in this journey. I have a long way to go. But at like a fundamental level, I feel like I don't need to control things anymore. And I think at some point you realize that it's very simple. If you just try to be in tune with your own higher consciousness, then every day becomes very effortless. It's like everything you do feels very special, and even mundane things can feel very magical because you see so many meaningful coincidences happening in your life. You see a lot of connections. So it's something everyone has to experience for themselves, and I am getting that little bits of it already on a pretty regular basis. So I'm so appreciative, couldn't speak more highly of the course, and could not recommend it more for anyone who may be going through a journey that I have been in the past and was looking for something to, give me direction in life.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. It seems like that transformation is touching you and you can feel it. And as you go along the path, things will happen to you.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Now, I'll just, I'll juxtapose Anumita, who has recently joined the program and who recently has come in touch with the teachings of Dr. Goswami, with someone who is there for more than a decade. Right. So I see that Sida is smiling. Sida is there as an interpreter of Dr. Goswami, along with Cecilia, who will come on later. But Sida is there for a very long time, and she is also a PhD student. She has already finished the master's degree in quantum science of health, prosperity, and happiness. So Sida, now say a few months versus 14 years.
Hello, Christian. Thank you so much for inviting me. Thank you, you all. Hello, everyone. It's such a pleasure to be here and tell you a little bit of my experience, because I have been on this journey of trying to transform myself for quite a long time. And I have never been to have transformation, learnings and transformation. I think everything we do in life, we can get them. But final, definite, deeper transformation it really required something else that I hadn't really touched. And as I was listening to you, we have been interpreters of Dr. Amit Goswami since 2008. And I just made a quick, a quick journey. And I asked myself, we listen to Dr. Amit every year, twice a year. And why didn't I really undergo that deeper transformation by listening only, which was wonderful. I remember I had meaningful dreams just before Amit came to Brazil. And I understood that his presence, knowing that he was coming, really touched my subconsciousness. But then after he went home and after we finished the translation, I didn't quite keep that transformation that I felt by listening to him. And then I understood and I knew immediately it is practice. It is the experiential part that is so strong, and that was, and it still is, it was in the master's degree. And like Amit said, it's going to go deeper into the PhD. So having meaning and purpose every evening, every morning, I really learned that and started putting that into practice in my life. And being able to access my vital body, being able to be more aware of my mental patterns, using the therapy to clean my software, my vital software, my feelings, my emotions, but going beyond to explore the archetypes, which is something so much simpler than we think than I thought. I thought, wow, can I ever do it? It's, it sounds so far from me. No, it's not. And so taking, like Valentina told us sometimes, take the practice from the yoga mat and put it into your everyday life, apply it. And it is really possible. And then one final thing that I would like to mention, which is, it has been key to me, the power of the group, a committed group practicing every day. That has made a difference in my life. So I only thank you so much for everything.
It was really wonderful. This is like a heartfelt talk, and this is, I believe, a lot of people can relate to that. Doing something, just listening, being a part of something from the fringes do not bring whatever benefits that is promised. One has to actually get in the ring and do it. Now, while saying this, let me come to a very distinguished student we have, Greg Kern. Greg is from Toronto, Canada, and he is from a discipline which is purely mathematical, calculative, and stuff like that. And not only that, he has a degree in structural engineering, MSc in management science, and he's a sales director of a large construction company. So if you look at a person like that, he is a go-getter, he's a no-nonsense person, hardly someone who would talk about vital. Someone who is in a construction company would most likely be into materials. But Greg is different. So Greg, over to you. What do you think about the courses?
Thank you very much, Krishanu. Boosted me up there. And hello, everyone. Since grade school, I've always been interested in physics and also spirituality, as I was brought up in a household that was full of spirituality. And I was fascinated about the invisible laws behind physics. And in a way, so I could see the relationship between physics and spirituality behind physics, but I didn't know how to connect it. And I came across a book by Dr. Goswami, God is Not Dead, and I read that, or I should say I studied that, because it was very, very comprehensive. And then I gravitated to QAV, and when I researched it, I thought, wow, that's what I've been looking for. So, like my fellow students have said, the experience it's been wonderful, life changing, and it's unlocked the understanding between physics and spirituality that I've been looking for. And for me personally as well. I mean, after I listened to the lecture that Dr. Goswami or Dr. Ozanor says is giving, I go down and have coffee with my wife, and I talk about it, and she's into it as well. And then what I realized was through this is that I married her because I think she's beautiful, but I also think she had good common sense. And what I didn't know is that she really is, from what I've studied with the group, is she's an old soul. I never saw that before. And it's a reason why I connected with her. She connected with me. So I find the course has given me connections to the people and the world around me. Same with my daughters. They come to me, they're young women trying to make it in the world, and they have problems with people, problems trying to make decisions. And I can use this, what I'm learning already in helping them make decisions, like intend on something and think of the greater good with it. And you'll be okay. If your intentions are good, don't worry about it, and it has helped them. I've seen it already just in this short year. And also just recently, I spent 3 weeks with my brother who was dying. And what we learned here was a tremendous experience with my brother. I couldn't wait to see him at the hospital and talk to him and relate with him and invoke the vital side of myself that I wasn't aware of. So personally, it's been absolutely transformative. And I guess more practically in the business where I am, and I certainly believe that, if business could act more consciously and invoke some consciousness in the leaders that run businesses, we can certainly do a better job in dealing with the world than we are today. It just doesn't seem to be working. And I'm very excited about that opportunity of doing that in some way through my thesis and striving for a PhD. So I do really recommend this for anyone who has any kind of thoughts like I do about the important link between physics or quantum science and spirituality. It's wonderful.
Greg, I must say, good education is not contained in a person. It refuses to be contained in a person. It generally percolates out, touches people in family, touches people in society, and eventually the society grows. So the thing that you were describing was giving me that feeling. And yes, we go through a lot of challenges, but with the right kind of tools, we can handle those challenges in a much better way. Thank you, Greg, for sharing your experience.
Thank you.
Now, coming to Katia. Well, Katia has a very close proximity to what we have been doing, the vital part of it. Katia is a naturopath in Portugal, and she is associated with us for quite some time now. She is doing her PhD with us, and over the years, she has accumulated various bits and pieces of experiences, information, and her own practices combined with what she is doing with quantum science has given her a unique vantage point from which to comment on what we are doing, how we are doing, and what is her view about it. So, Katia, over to you.
Hello, Cristiano. Hello, everyone. I am very grateful to be part of this family of these quantum activists. I came across with the work of Professor Amit Goswami in 2004 with a documentary, What a Bleep Do We Know? I was a student of naturopathy at that time, And luckily for me, as a student of naturopathy, I could see the human being as a whole, not as separated, every organ apart. So this vision plus the quantum science vision make an enormous sense. So since that time, I was reading the books of Professor Amit Goswami and very interested in his work. And when I realized that I could do a PhD with him, I did not hesitate. I just said to my husband, and I have 5 kids, so lack of time is not a motive to don't do this kind of course, because when we want, we can get time. And I said to my husband, I will study with Professor Amit Goswami in India. I don't know how many times I need to go there, but I will do it. And he said, okay, you are, well, if with that kind of certain what to say, go for it. And I did not have any doubts about the incredible experiences I was about to have. For me as a naturopath, this was important because I could get scientific explanations to the things that I have already learned as a naturopathy student. I work as with appointments for many years, 10 years that I give appointments, and studying quantum science gives me the scientific approach that many patients need when they come to us. When we talk about chakras, when we talk about vital energy, some people, they just don't, and they don't understand, and plus they want scientific proofs of it. And studying quantum science gave me that capacity to explain deeper and better. And the world need to change, as Professor Valentina told. The world need to change, and each profession. And it's so interesting because we are just a part of the students that are here, and from some different fields. And what this means is that every person, no matter the fields where they are, needs to understand this vision of quantum science. Independently of the profession, if we are a health profession, if we come from the heart, if we come from engineering or whatever, we need to understand this quantum worldview. Otherwise, the world won't change. And we need to do this change. I felt to myself good experiences on quantum leaps of evolution. So not only this was very important to me, to my life, to deal with my kids, to deal with my husband, to deal with my relations, but also to help people to do their own quantum leaps, because we know that diseases are related to emotions and to sufferance. And if we teach this capacity to patients, the capacity to do their own quantum leaps of evolution, we have much better chances to cure diseases such as cancer or autoimmune disorders or depression or anxiety. So what I think is that, first, every health profession needs to do this course. And second, every people from other professions should do this course, because they will have a vision that will change their posture on their professions, leading the world to a better world. So I'm very grateful. I've been learning a lot, and this is my experience. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Katia. Yes, what you said will probably make a lot of sense to many people. And this is a very, very different worldview, the worldview that should be the case. Unfortunately, still about 15% of the world is alive to these ideas, but the numbers are growing. And change, it cannot be delayed, but it cannot be denied. Now, we'll move on to the last student who is there on the show with us today, is Cecilia. Cecilia is also an interpreter for Dr. Goswami since 2008. She is from Brazil, like Sida, and she has done her master's with us, and then she will be doing her PhD with us as well. Now, Cecilia is knowing Dr. Goswami for a long time, and because of that intimacy, she also has generated this particular point of view, which can be very useful for everyone. So, Cecilia, uh, may I request you to share your experiences with Dr. Goswami and how you find these courses to be useful for people in general.
Hi everyone, I'm here. I also learned, like Sida, to change my practices, my life. So I was here relaxing, doing my yoga.
Wow.
And,
Hi, what is his name?
and what really made the difference, since I was doing yoga for a long time, but never with this approach of vital body and paying attention to the chakras and all of that. So, Miss Mawari.
Probably he wants to say something.
Yes.
Okay.
And he wasn't here until now. And so I really also underline what Sida said about the practices, daily practices of yoga in this different way, not just for the physical body as stretching, but really for the vital body and having this awareness. And I never practiced yoga with closed eyes, nor did I make the awareness part before. So I'm changing. I can say that. I'm not at what I'm aiming yet, but I know where to head. And also, like Sida said, when we were translating just in the Brazilian courses where Dr. Goswami came like twice or sometimes twice a year, even for longer periods, it wasn't really the same as now having the opportunity to translate every weekend in these webinars where everybody is always invited. And I would encourage everybody to be in all the courses, because Dr. Goswami is a pioneer whom we are blessed to be with. It is really something so unique. Within some years, people will regret, oh, why didn't I participate live and be there with him and participate in the building of this new knowledge? Because the basis is set with quantum physics, with the principles of quantum physics and joining spirituality and quantum physics. But this is a knowledge that is evolving, and we are participating in this. Every student who is bringing a new research, a new idea, is being looked at. So when Valentina said that we have a tangled hierarchy among us, is because every contribution is valid, and everything is helping the science to get more of a body, being stronger. We had, for example, a great psychiatrist, Sudeep, from whom I learned a lot. I exchanged with him. So we also have this group whom we are also, like Katia is also from the health field, other Brazilians too. We have conversations among us, and we also discuss things and try novelties. For example, yesterday I was with Dani, who has a new machine, the bioresonance machine like Katia has, and we went through it also. So and everything I'm learning is making me feel more sound, more solid in terms of my knowledge base. So it is for the first time that I'm teaching hypnotherapy now for a group of 15 students. I'm a psychologist and hypnotherapist, and hypnotherapy as a quantum tool for cleaning the unconscious is my research field in my PhD now with Dr. Goswami and Valentina and all the faculty. And for the first time, I'm starting to teach. I gave my third class yesterday, and I feel that I have something to contribute because I have all this basis that I'm learning throughout the masters and now still and every weekend. And this is it also helped very much in my spiritual my own research. I came from a doctrine, and I had discussions. I remember still one in 2010 with Dr. Goswami. We were about to go to university, a federal university, for him to give a talk and for me to translate. And we had some time before, and I was discussing that point of view, and he was like, and I slowly matured to, and what helped me to understand Dr. Goswami, and also to help me to understand it, was the Course in Miracles, and then Nisargadatta Maharaj also with the book I Am That. So understanding better this oneness among us, consciousness as the ground of all being, and that we are all one. So I had to enter through other doors, and somehow now it totally made sense to me. And this empathy, I think, I don't know, Dr. Goswami now mentioned the empathy that is not the behavioral, but the one where we enter the client's mind, the people we help in tangled hierarchy, because they do the work in the hypnotherapy. In fact, we are just the facilitators, the therapists. But this entering the other's mind and therefore relaxing, because intuitions will come. This is something that makes it also easier and faster to teach it to someone who thinks, oh, this is so difficult. No, you enter the other's mind because you are already one mind with the other. So these concepts are something that I apply in my daily work as well. So not only I am changing as a person, but I also feel more supported by all the knowledge I'm gaining. And I'm also very satisfied in watching how Dr. Goswami, Valentina are developing all this theory and broadening it, and having the group, and being there every weekend. It is a pleasure. I don't feel it as a work. It is really a pleasure to translate and to go into their minds and be their interpreters. Has been great. So I can only recommend, and as Katya said, not only for health professionals, but for everyone who lives on this planet, because having the right worldview, making sense of what is going on, all the polarizations that we see, all the craziness, people just struggling for their survival, and all the projections, the hatred towards others, and not understanding that we are all one, that what I do to the other, I'm doing to myself, and all these really grounding ideas to help us live better and to like rise above the battlefield somehow, having a clearer understanding of what we're doing here and what needs still to be done, how we can help, and how we can help ourselves, and how we can be of help. And all of this is for everyone. I mean, there is no profession excluded. We heard Greg, we heard Katya, Sida, Anamita, all the students here come from different backgrounds, and for all of us, it's been very heartwarming, because we all love our teachers, and I know they love us. That's it from my side.
Thank you. It was, heartwarming, really, to hear you. And I'm not exaggerating. Before anything else, let me welcome all of you again and thank all of you, all the students and faculty, to be a part of this program. You took time out from your busy schedules, and we could have you together and hear your views. Thank you so much. It is a big pleasure from our part. Now, before we end, let us go back to Amit again. What we have heard here is that people from various backgrounds, from various countries have come here. And if you look at the name, health, prosperity, and happiness, These three pillars define most people's worldview. This is what people look for. In whatever way they define these three things, that is a different thing altogether. So, in a way, the promise of what is there in the course is enormous. And we have testimony from people who have experienced it firsthand. We have faculties who are again from various backgrounds. We have faculties who say that, yes, if this course was available to us earlier, I would have taken it. And that too, a faculty in a physics in a large university. Now, given all that, there is quite a bit of promise that builds up. And of course, the onus of delivering to that promise, as Amit already has said, that if someone is doing a PhD program, we guarantee transformation. Right. So, and now that you have all spoken, I'll go back to him once again for a short wraparound of what you have heard. If you have anything to add, is there some place where we have gone wrong, you want to correct us, and so on and so forth. So we'll try to keep it brief because we are quite way out of time. Over to Dr. Goswami.
Thank you, Krishanu. Hello again. I am very grateful to everyone for this wonderful discussion we have. This is the thing. You are joining a family if you come to us. And this family is transforming together are the most important thing that is happening in the planet today. No, we have lost the one thing that we have lost because of the current materialist worldview and of course the polarization is something that we got to regain. We were connected before. In those connected states, we have built a collective unconscious. That's a living proof of our connection in ancient times. We need to bring it back in order to give civilization a boost, in order to lift us from this very closing mind, constricted consciousness kind of thing that we live today. In order to proceed, we need groups, we need connectivity, and this is what we promise the most. So not only will you be able to find congruence between how you think, how you live, and how you make your living, you will be joining a family, you will be making a group and contributing to rebuilding a second installment of humanity's collective unconscious. You are that precious to us. Join us. We'll be waiting for you. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Goswami. We will not talk anything beyond this as far as call to join this program is concerned. I would only mention that if you are interested, then you reach out to us. Our email ID is info@amitgoswami.org. All the contact informations are displayed on the screen. So you can reach out to us and talk to us, and we will be able to give you probably some of the things that you have not heard or seen anywhere else. This much I can promise. So thank you again. Thank you so much, and keep seeing you. Bye-bye.